Alright. The raffle closes in 10 seconds, at which point I am going to do a draw, and then we will move on to the next tour location, which is at Phasicus in this place. Phasicus, you're still around, right? Yeah, Cody, it's an awesome walkway. It could honestly go in like a ton of different builds. It could go in a sci-fi build. That's really the first thing that I thought of with it. Glass it up and put it in Poro's aquarium, encircled in water. So, draw winner, Fubar 27. Congrats, Fubar. I think you're also a repeat winner. So, which item would you like? Don't thank me. It was the random number generator that selected you. Gem Seeker. Alright. I'm getting pretty low on those. I think I might only have a couple left. But there are a lot. I hope you folks know and realize this. There are a lot of people who were in the Insiders program that are still in the Insiders program, whether or not they actually stream Landmark. So if you can identify who those folks are, you might be able to win in their channels, or just be able to hit them up and be like, hey, do you have like an extra one of these items? And they might just be able to send it to you. Not going to say who these people are because that would make it way too easy. But if you've been around and you can figure out who those folks are and you know, then you can actually execute on that yourself and get yourself a little bit better odds than just the random number generator and putting tickets in. But the air is fresher. Good, good, good. Oh, I need to turn on the UI so I can locate you. Faz. And then we don't have a tour destination lined up after this one, so if you have a Kerran build that you're working on, please do let us know and we will be looking to visit there next. Alright. So... Hmm. Fubar, did you see mine at the beginning? It actually didn't use any voxelmancy. I did the first portion of it streaming during my marathon. The recent work I wasn't streaming. I probably should have been. But getting from point A to point B with it is something I am definitely able to teach others. So if you actually want some help working on your Kerran build, maybe we'll actually do that during Castles and Crapshacks here. It's usually not something we do, but I would be willing to mess around with it a little bit. Well played, Diggs. Yes. Okay. So it's definitely a mountainside build now. So I see it's quite work in progressy, but I like the oceanside view. It's definitely something I could see Kerran's doing, and if it hasn't been talked about in the style guide, who gives a crap? This is what a Kerran would want to see. I go out to my front, I step out to get hit by, a huge blast of freaking salty, delicious sea air. I can, from here, be a cat and just go dive straight out into the water. Maybe they got, more forward hops in that, or maybe they'd have a little diving board or plank or something. But just having the water right there, that seems like for Kerran's just the best. And maybe it's not as high up as they would normally want, but yeah, diving board, something coming off of here probably. Yeah. This definitely, it seems like a place Kerran would want to set their home up. It seems like this would be part of an entire coastal civilization. Like it would go all the way from, here basically to, or even as far as, where it kind of juts out over here in the mouth of this little cove here, going all the way across to, probably to about that peak or so, maybe a little bit further past it. That's definitely places where I could see, an entire Kerran civilization being built up in this area. And then that being the case, this building doesn't seem so weird in the context. Right now, it being on its own out here, I could see the art team giving it a knock because I'm some creature and I can just, sling a rope or something and be getting in your lower windows, which, Kerrans wouldn't want things being able to get into their lower windows like that, or their, as they are kind of the lower windows, upper viewing areas and stuff up here. Maybe those are the higher windows. Yeah, Kerran Cove. And this is distinctly different than what we saw with Maximus and his build, but it still has a lot of the same sort of stuff going on with the the wood planks being the main thing connecting one part to the other, and being a major visual element from the outside. This of course uses a lot more plaster than we saw on the other one. The other one I don't think there was any plaster. But this is fairly well plastered, and I think this might be almost a little too much plaster than we would actually see for a Kerran build. I would imagine a lot more of a transition to less plaster and more wood as we get towards this area here, and then very minimal plaster as we get up to here. It's of course all wood up there, so it doesn't have that part's fine. Or even as far as here is where it would start getting to the more heavy wood, less plaster sort of parts. If we had more ways, more claims connecting different ways, yeah. I was really thinking if they actually divided up our claims into 1/8 of the size that they currently are, and allow for more like a route, and then kind of 2 or 3 subroutes within your claim radius, and that you can build them sideways and build them up in different ways instead of using this big honking thing that's sometimes hard to really fill out, and especially a lot of people don't really use the upper space in them to divide them 8 ways. I should probably write up a proposal or do something about that on Live Feature, right? like the I like the lattice on the windows. I like the shape of the place in here. I just don't know if all of this would be plaster like this or if it'd be more wood. Especially, I feel like they would want to use more wood higher up to take the stress off of what's going on down below, because this is a lot of stuff, and even though it's being built into the side of a mountain, that doesn't mean it couldn't stand to be a little bit on the lighter side. The cylinder template? Cylinders, you don't really need a template for. You just make a section of squares, and then you, once you have a big enough line of squares, you just start smoothing them down. So there's definitely a lot of nice stuff going on here, other than the balance of the kind of the wood and the plaster, which is definitely something I could see being changed pretty easily at this point. It's definitely a great start, and I'm really excited to see where this is going to go from here. This walkway here is lovely. I'm not sure if that's the right material to line the bottom. Are my materials off? Is that what's going on here? No, that's the material that's supposed to be represented there. I feel like some different wood maybe would work better in there than the plastery material, but that's just me. It's just that it's really striking to look up and see that stark white color there rather than more wood or seeing light coming through. It is really well put together, though, for sure. I do not disagree with you there, Pi. I love it. There's actually, enough that there's kind of some backing for those roof tiles, and especially up here, these are fully reinforced from below, which that Neuro very much approves of. Yeah, I like that it creates that star shape there. Oops, there we go. As you see it from the side here, it actually creates the four-pointed star in there, which is extremely clever. Ooh, thank you for the follow, Habitur. I'm glad you like what you're seeing, and I hope you enjoy other stuff that you see out here. I like these lanterns here. Those are very nice. Those are really nice. This doorway here is just really nice in general too. The uneven boards seem out of... Well, with the amount of plaster, the place looks a little bit too clean and built up for these. I can see what you mean. The tiles were a happy mistake. Ah. Curved slates in line. Yeah, I see what you mean, Katavari. But I think once the place gets worked a little bit more, especially if more wood is going to be added to it, it would definitely be a little bit more, I guess, consistent with the rest of the aesthetic of the place. This lantern? I can't highlight it. I don't think it's a prop. I mean, there's definitely a prop in there. No, I don't know. Maybe there's a candle in there or something. It's definitely got some, movement to the light. It isn't just a static light. I guess it is kind of pulsating. It probably is just one of those in there. Pretty cool. Really nice. Let's see. I wonder where the moon, sun, oh, there it is. I was not able to find that when I was looking around earlier. So the moon's going to be casting light on the place in this picture. This is picture time now. I guess the one other thing to talk about here is the this space here definitely looks like it's still being worked on, but I really like the potential for it to be nice and airy going up there. I do like these windows. They're really nice. A lot of that curved space, the curves in the negative space, use of the stars there, kind of that repetition. The fact that they're kind of moved out from the wall a little bit. They seem like they could even be made out of wood. Yeah, good point, Katavari. Good point. Alright. I'm going to go jump off of some high point real quick and make something look pretty. Yeah, like the way these windows here are wood. This could even be, if you had it extended one voxel out from the wall and kind of framed like that, could even be nice. Oop, there we go. And I'll just go out and do it this way. Thanks, Pi. Yeah, I do my best to take dynamic pictures. I try to really take a nice shot of places. Thank you for the follow. Vowels. Alright. Oh, I should get the coordinates of this place. So, who's next? Who's got a Kerran build that they want to show off here? Um, each island, the name of the island, they all have the same terrain to them, so the coordinates are the same on all of them. But each different island has a completely different procedural map to them, so the coordinates don't really help. The coordinates only get you to that location on that island on that server. You'll be in the same position on a different server, but you won't be at that claim. Oh, I got lucky Habitur. I was gifted this by somebody really, really awesome. I believe it was Chimera Rose, actually, who was really, really awesome. And I didn't have to actually search and hunt for mine. I got lucky. I know a lot of people that didn't have the same kind of luck that I did. But at the same time, I'm trying to do something awesome with it, and I hope that having the belt here has allowed me to take some really nice shots and add to the content for people, make things look really nice. Damn, that looks really, really fancy out there. Oh, hell yeah, Fugazi. You know it. I was thinking of just going to your place anyway. Over 200 chests and no belt, damn. Think I might be still on cooldown. Think it is an hour cooldown. Oops. Cool, see you in a few, Fugazi. What's that? Good stuff, good stuff. So, I like these angled tile pieces here. I think we've already seen these roofs before, but this right here is really nice. By the way, Louis, what is Laser Clash Live? Is that the laser thingy? The laser tag at SOE Live? Some wall segments. Some wooden plaster. I'll have to check my schedule. I think I'm doing something during that time slot, so I'm probably not going to be able to participate. So let's see what's new with the buildings here. I don't know, this building has changed. Still looks awesome. This one looks like it's been changing. Being built up. That's really cool. I really like the lattice work, the woodwork and stuff going on. Kind of looks like a little scaffolding sort of thing going on there. I see the letter W here. Does everyone else see that, or am I tripping? Oh, foobar. No. I really like these like wooden walls you've got going on here, the wood planks. Oops. There we go. Looks very kind of not roughly built, but built with kind of spacing in mind. It's meant to breathe. It's not meant to stop the gusts of wind from coming through. I like the metal on the stairs. I think it'd be interesting to have that all the way down. Yeah, it's actually pretty flat looking. I think we've seen that awesome kind of underneath what's it called, the reinforced ceiling the last time we were here. It's pretty nice. These look really nice from below. Welcome back, Fugazi. Mock-up mode, yeah. I like what's going on here quite a bit. Joe Bot, how's it going? Thanks for the follow. Yeah. That bridge. It's looking great. Roof ideas in particular? Well, you are at the right place. Still have no belt. Yeah, that one's, they're tough to find. They were probably easier to find when people could just mash chests and get, like, a bunch of items out of them, but they fixed that bug a while ago. Yeah, I really like what's going on here. It's, is the dull copper, I believe. Yeah, which works really well with the Kerran stuff. It's a metal that blends with burled wood rather than kind of pulling away from it and being really high contrast from it. It's just a little bit shinier. It's maybe a little less red to it, a little more neutral. Voxel reactor, yeah, I bet. No, that's not cheating. Voxelmancy is the advanced art form. But then again, I was showing my build earlier that you know, minimal voxelmancy, and it's distinctly a Kerran build. We'll go back to it at the end of the show here and kind of give a little comparison to what we've seen in some of the awesome stuff here tonight, today slash tonight slash this morning, or whatever time it is for you wherever you are, because I know we have all sorts of awesome people tuned in from all sorts of everywhere. So oh, and I like this little piece here. It'll be interesting to see when it's all connected up. This is gonna be part of an archway or something, it looks like, or entryway at least. Good stuff. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait till the stuff's built up a little bit more to give an update screenshot. I've already screenshotted this awesome build in previous episodes, and while it still is getting more awesome, I know it'll be even more awesome soon. Oh, I see. That's cool. You just have to build it into it, I guess, so it doesn't break. That makes sense. Holy crap. That hour went by fast. Oops. I've got my water over here. Alright. Automzo, thank you very much for coming through. I will see you around. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what this building looks like when it's finished. I can see that it's got a lot of ways to go, but it's really, really, really nice. And it builds upon. I remember when that was the top of the building before. You know, actually, this is kind of a big update from the last time I was here. I will take a screenshot. Where the hell did the sun go? Just get the screenshot interface up. I got you, Fugazi. I guess that's probably a good reason why I'm still keeping my skill to more basic stuff instead of getting like crazy with the reactors here like you do. Where to next? Who's got a Kerran build that they would like a little bit of feedback on? Who was that was in here earlier? It was JoeBot. Oh, cool. Was that over on your claim? Yeah, for sure. What's your name in game? It's dark chocolate with sea salt for my stream. That's what I'm eating here. Hey, Kaliria, how's it going? Welcome. The oh whoops. The Gallery is only a 2-minute cooldown, so I'm just going to use that. That's a much easier way to go. You know what? It is giveaway time. I'm going to start the next giveaway. I'm not even going to deal with tickets. I'm just going to do... Okie dokie. I don't know, Katavari. It's probably not close enough to me for me to worry about. Okay, so this is an interesting build for sure. So, let's just take a look at it in the context of what we know about Kerrans. The, having large stone blocks up here, it's kind of an interesting look, but I don't know that Kerrans would have, you know, they don't really use stone blocks and bricks and stuff as much, and where they do usually have it is towards the very base, because it's sometimes easier to have it conform with the ground and build it up from the ground. Norwalk, yeah, not even close. I'd have to drive for a little ways to be close enough to get mauled by that African lion. I'm just fine. Yeah, if you put the bricks and use a smaller brick, even the small brown brick that they added recently, down here. Here, let me find that material for you. It's a stone. I think that's more the material you're looking for, right? Either something like that, or if you really do just want sand, we can just go like... That's a little too big though. Patch these two together. Yeah, I saw that. I was experimenting with that a little bit myself recently, but I feel like it doesn't quite have the kind of seamlessness that it needs to you know, really work out there. I like attempting it, and I like the attempt that you did with it. All the old textures are too big. I think you're right. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is the one to use. Or an exposed brick look. Well, we saw that with it was the think it was this one, and I think, was that the material to give it that kind of patchy look? Something like that. There you go. Awesome. Cool deal. Yeah, if you hold, while you have like the add tool or one of your tools out, if you hold Alt, it'll bring up this little white 1x1x1, and any material you click on with that, it changes that to the material that's active in your material selector, so you can actually use that to select between the three materials as you're painting and working through this area. Cool deal. So that should be really neat to see that sort of stuff worked out for it. Do a solid material, then one line of dirt, and then another line of solid material. Will blend the two solids without showing much of the dirt. Interesting. Good to know. Good to know. So, kind of dilapidated base, then super heavy wood to give it a solid feel. Cool. Yeah, I see you've got the wood spars going through, or at least the illusion of the wood spars going through. These actually should be pieces of wood extending all the way through, and actually, set up in a functional way that when you're on the inside here, they're actually providing some sort of a they're adding some purpose to it. They're being used to support things, or things are being hung down from them, or something. Oh, that's not my selection tool. If you had enough wood. How much do I have? Probably. Oh, not that much. I need to go make some more myself. Oh, there it goes. One other building? Alright. Yeah, that's right, Pi. Alright. So yeah, you've got the bricks for the base. You've got this kind of wood trim as kind of a separating point between the base and the kind of functional plaster area in the middle here. Then there's these giant wood spars. I kind of like that look with the thinner, the different type of wood kind of shoved through. And I actually kind of think that'd be interesting if these ones that are a different material were a bit longer than the ones on the outside of them. It's an interesting look. But once again, that's just on the outside. That wood definitely does need to go all the way through it. Yeah, there you go. Could be a pretty interesting look. Cool. Cool deal. Well, yeah, I definitely like the kind of start at things here, and I wish you the best of luck as you continue with things. It's still, both of them are still in a little bit too early of a state than I think would be fair to do a screenshot. But definitely, when you've got some more working on these, I'd love to come back by and see what you've done with them and give some more feedback and such. But yeah, best of luck, and I will see you later. Before I head out, though, we have to draw a winner. Piewing! Congrats! Congrats! What item would you like for the week? Alright. Lunar Anklet. Awesome. You got it. After the show, I'll be sending that out. I'm always glad when people grab a lunar anklet because I have way more of them than I would have expected to have at this point. Alright, so who else has a Kerran claim that they want to show off here? Vanilla? Radiolog? Caleria? Yeah, certainly did. There have been various different ways to get a lunar anklet. People won them in different ways. It looks like a bootleg Kerran build. Omid said last night that it was a costume, I believe, or an outfit for the characters. Um, People have assumed maybe a swimsuit or something. So just a bootleg Kerran build. That could be fun to check out. I've seen Osmotar's works before. I kind of want to check this place out. Oh, nice. This is awesome. It's just this floating lounge. Not messing around with any of the other stuff, just working on this nice loungy part. And it's lovely. I like that. The little floating candle there. I like this planter here. Looks really comfy. Good use of the wave pattern there. Ooh, I really like that. Not only is it using that wave pattern almost like a double wave pattern, but I like the wood spars going through it. That's a really interesting way to kind of cut the pattern and add some functional things to it. I'm not sure where these would be going or what they'd be connecting to, or if this would be going across and being part of the roof. But I really like it. And I like these here. These look really nice. Yeah, putting in the wave pattern was a really good idea. I bet that would work really well somewhere in here too. Huh. I like the lattice here. Oh, it's a torch lattice. Alright, that's enough out of me. Yeah, no, the torch lattice has good fidelity. Yeah, no, Calm, that's definitely a torch lattice. I think that's this one. Nope. This one. Nope. That's this one. There we go. Not great with microvoxels, so you cheat. Yeah, and Rosie specifically said like no crosshatch torches for the because it's going to be way too many props and it's going to look weird. But at the same time, we don't really have an alternative that allows this level of tightness and fidelity. Deleting and undoing turns them all off. That's hilarious. These wood planks here are nice. I really like this on the edge of the water here. I could see Kerran just hanging out and having a good old time up here. Good stuff. Yeah. Rude now. Oh, you. Alright. Whoops. Let's see. Embiggened, indeed. Alright. Yeah, but they're going to be tall for a different reason. They're just going to be tall to show that they can make big, tall things. They're not going to have functional space in the higher areas. They're just going to do it because they've got a shortness complex. Let's check this one out. Plazpa. It looks nice. Oh, I didn't realize there was a vote for Kerran mount. I thought Aviax was the only thing that Kerrans would ride on. Why don't you post a link for it? Hope Ixar build Mayan style. That'd be really cool. I was about to call them Bixar. Bixar. That's too close to Pixar. Ixar. Pachyderm. It's definitely on the coast. So, it definitely appears Kerran in style, but I would say the fact that it's not built into the terrain that existed, and rather the ground was cut out, that would, I guess, need to be adjusted later on, or the base will eventually be needed to blended into the terrain to look correct. But you know, it's not a bad size for the base. Definitely needs to be taller. Yeah, I won't argue there. So I like this walkway here. It's really interesting, but it's a very rough looking kind of staircase. Spars going through and helping to support it. That's good. That's really good. Little broken up areas where you can see the brick kind of behind there. That's cool. Oh, they have their own little cylinders they're working with, or not quite cylinders, but rounded squares. Yeah, the stairs are really nice. I actually, even though there's no cuts or breaks in the wood, oh, there's little breaks here and there. I like this just a little bit more breaking up to make them look like they're not just these giant little planks going through. I think would be really nice. Look pretty solid. I like the use of the blue in the plaster here. That's cobalt. I think it's a dull cobalt. Good use of the stars. There's the windows. Ah, they made their own tiles, their own wood tile inside here. I like that a lot. Have planks going both ways? Yeah. Whoops. I would almost think that there would be windows on this floor too if there's windows down below there. I like that, the wave pattern, and it's got the stars in them. That's really cool. The roof tiles are reinforced, and what I mean by that is I can't see underneath the roof tiles, therefore there's something holding them up, which is good. That very much I approve of. I really like what's going on up here in these higher parts in the roof area in this build. Very nice and open and airy. This I could see having a lantern hanging off of it, and that's why it's particularly longer than the other side. Might use a different roof texture. Yellow and the pine seems to clash with the burled wood. Yeah, you might be right. I think it would work better if maybe that was more of like a sandstone rather than the plaster, but you know, it works. I wonder what they're doing there. Blue star inlay there too. Nice. And this up here, the I've seen that used in like lanterns, I think, in previous builds. Top section could use some thicker supports. I think you're right. Yeah, Vanilla, you're absolutely right. Beach definitely is screaming striped wood. Beach and desert. Pretty nice overall. It's got, a lot more work and definitely needs to be taller. Way, 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 way taller. Taller, 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 taller. But it'll be nice. Nice when it is finished, for sure. There we go. That way we don't see the connection with the terrain down below. Ha, Ramsel. Yeah, it looks like they have the top of an awesome Kerran building. Good point. Okay. That should send. Yeah, there we go. Let's see what's going on here. Interesting. I don't really know why it was built here if it's not meant to be a snowy Kerran claim, but okay. So let's look at it for what it is. It looks like a lifesaver or something. So I like this doorway here. Not really sure if they would have a doorway like this at the ground floor. Let's see, going in. Fireplace, okay. It's got a little vent going up behind it. That's a really narrow staircase for a Kerran, I think. If it was on the outside with like a wall to support it, that's one thing, but that's a kind of a narrow staircase, I think, for a Kerran to deal with. I like the wooden spars going through it. I definitely could see them being used to help build up the space and reinforce it, and different paths and stuff being built on them to help one get from the bottom to the top. I don't expect that a Kerran is just going to be jumping and climbing and getting up to the wood boards here that way. These boards, they're good. They haven't got the little separation between, but that's fine. They're kind of cutting them as they see fit and using the appropriate either horizontal or vertical, depending on where this is oriented, to line the planks up in the direction and just cut them where they need them. So that definitely works. It's neat. I like the lattice because it kind of represents that star shape. I wonder if there's any way it could be done so that the it's more perfect to that star shape, to the four-pointed star, and then just kind of rotated to fit these proportions. But I really like that lattice. It definitely looks like it could go in a Kerran structure. The wood that was used for the for these floorboards and these boards up here, and the this wave pattern going around, I feel like it contrasts too much with the burrowed wood, especially in the icy environment here. And like we saw earlier, the these roof tiles might be a little bit too light to go with the burrowed wood. I like these columns though. I'm not sure if they would use stone in this way. I haven't really seen too many Kerran structures or anything from the concept art that would reinforce this, but that doesn't mean it isn't a bad thing. I really like it. Be an interesting sort of thing for them to do. I like the continuation of the wave pattern up here. Yeah, as a contrast, that's true. I would probably, if it wasn't so expensive, I would probably use the raw burled wood for the wave patterns and the accent color to use here. It's not built up all the way, and I really don't know about this one going through the top here. It kind of makes it look like it's got horns or something. It's kind of weird. Especially because the orientation of it is north-south, and I would imagine it would be, east-west, just as an aesthetic sort of thing, and just as a, if east-west is the orientation that they do for their buildings, then I would expect that's where something big and standing out like this would actually be oriented. be going this way to match the east and west where the compass is pointing. So looks like they have hydraulics so they can raise the roof. Things tribal people do, they put a bone. You know, I was thinking that a little bit too. It's an interesting stream, or interesting, what's it called, build. I'll take a screenshot while I'm here, I might as well. Understanding canal. Damn, I should try to get Rosie on for one of these final episodes before the contest really goes through in like the last 2 weeks or something. That'd be great. Or Jeff Butler, either one. I need the location. Alright, let's see. How much time do we have? We got 20 minutes left. Oh, whoops. Oh, well. Hey, Max, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Where the heck did that list end up? No, not that one. Yeah, there we go. The Kerran builds are starting to really shape up. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from a lot of them. Let's see, where's... It's up this way, okay. Alright, I'm just gonna head on home and we'll do a little compare and contrast with the Kerran build that I've got going. I showed it off a little bit earlier at the beginning of the show. It's a very low voxelmancy build, but it still very much translates as being Kerran. Random chocolate scraps. I still have a little bit more chocolate around here somewhere. It's a dark chocolate with sea salt crystals. I was gonna have it during the marathon, but I didn't really get into it. There's so much other awesome stuff to munch on. The 30-hour marathon. It was fun. And I'm just gonna... Oh, I don't have the copper handy. Oh well. I'll just fly there. Only take a moment. And while I'm doing that, I might as well get the giveaway going here. Thanks for the follow. Alright, I'll do that. So it's on a 12-minute timer there. Do as the lovely folks are here and type !gimme if you want it. It's Gimme. Only one I. Be very careful with that. Yeah, Rudenella really gets to the point of it, right? No, I'm kidding. I think it's a funny word though, and to do for the giveaways. Especially when there's some real nice shiny item and it's like, "Oh, gimme, 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 gimme." Yeah, if you folks didn't realize, I give 100 neuro tokens every 5 minutes. I got the idea from Sog to do a very inflated currency, and well, that's my version of it. So this is getting back to my Kerran build here. I showed it off at the very beginning of the show, and we'll do another review of it here. So I saw a little bit of the kind of stone base and then go into plaster and then to wood. Yeah, I guess so, Cadavari. It's getting stronger, I think. So yeah, stone base and designed to conform with the ground here, and I definitely didn't muss up the ground too much. I try to keep the terrain where it was, how it was, and I even added some boulders. I added some boulder props there. I added a boulder prop here. I added a boulder prop here, and that's to help support the the built into the terrain aspect of it, rather than looking like I cleared the area first and then built up from it. So, as you can see going around here, I've got the oops, let me go back down here. The wood spars themselves, while they go through the building, they're actually kind of askew at different angles. They're actually kind of stacked on top of one another inside, and I'll show you that real quick. Thanks, Pi. So I haven't built up the underspace yet. There would probably be a ladder connecting from this platform up, but I have these spars going through the building. If you put spars, don't just have them on the outside. They have to go through the building, and you have to find some way to integrate them. These are the spars that are going all the way up through, and these are really, really long ones, much longer than a tree. So I might actually find some way to kind of cut them and do like a juncture or something to keep extending. But they go through the entire building. This base here, I definitely wouldn't have people actually going inside of it. So I would do something to kind of seal this up. And this really isn't an area people would be able to access. The bottom of the plaster is kind of the lowest I would really want people to go into, I think. Maybe I'd have stuff all the way down. It would probably be very limited what I put there. I really haven't worked the interiors yet. Now, like I've said, this is a very low voxelmancy build. I haven't done any like thinner voxels anywhere. But I went with one of the things that Rosie was saying is really good and works really well is parallaxing, and having that's basically you've got different layers moving at different speeds as you go by. So that's kind of the thing that I'm doing here. There's this kind of frame here, and then kind of pushed out from the frame, and all of the designs go out towards the outside. None of them come inward. They all have a different kind of design, and they all, with the depth, you see it kind of doing that parallaxing thing as I move across. Hold on just a second. Alright. So now this up here, once again, not an act of voxelmancy. Yeah, that's the idea. I definitely wanted to look like it was actually built, that it wasn't just, kind of put there. Thanks, JoeBot. But yeah, like I was saying with these, I just made the cylinders the same way anyone would. You just make a big square line, or a big line of bricks, blocks or whatever rather, and you just smooth it out enough that it becomes a cylinder in shape. Then you copy that out, and then where I've got the grooves here, I actually pasted the inverse. Here I can kind of show how you do that in case anybody isn't aware. Whoops. So if you go into tweak mode, you can do remove voxels, and that will delete based on whatever you've got selected. So that's basically what I did. I selected part of one of my cylinders and just used that remove to cut these out. I kept it kind of thick here, and it helps kind of reinforce the area a bit. Cool deal, JoeBot. And then the other thing, I continue doing the same thing with the lattice. Only the north and south walls have this lattice pattern here, and or rather, wait a minute. No, actually, I should probably be rotating these, because these are the east and west walls. It's supposed to be, and I guess I did it incorrectly here, didn't rotate it properly. The north and south walls are supposed to be the ones that are blocked off to continue that free-flowing east and west orientation that is preferred for the Kerran structures. Yeah, the parallaxing lattice work, that's a lot of fun to work on. And from the outside, it's not too striking, it's not too odd looking. It definitely looks like lattice work. You don't get as much of the parallax, but that's totally fine. At least you can see that it's removed, it's separated from the frame itself, which gives a neat sort of depth to it. Like I said, this weird like bone snake pattern or whatever it is, I'm definitely going to change those up because they look a little too weird. But I like this. I really like the lattices that I've made down here. And the other thing that I've got going on is this circular roof. Now, once again, this was not an act of voxelmancy. To make this, I actually basically created one V-shaped segment with like a block here and a block here and then another one on the same side that I then connected with the line tool. And then just copied the, I did it to both sides and then pasted, and then just kept on pasting using the new free rotation to paste in a radial pattern. And it took a long time, it took a lot of wood to get it to where it's at, but it's got a little certain roughness to it, especially around the edges, and I like that. I'm fine with that. It's a little bit on the bumpy side, and that's fine. It's got kind of this radial bumpiness, and I'm fine with that. It helps enhance kind of the rough look to it. I'm definitely going to have to mess with some different materials. It's way too much just diagonal burled wood everywhere. I need to get a little bit more differences, a little bit more contrast of colors and patterns between the woods that I have, or the wood sections that I have. But one thing you can definitely see is right here. This is where the plaster ends, and that's something that I've seen a lot of builds have a hard time with, is going from the big plaster section to the wood section and not really being able to transition away from that plaster. Rosie would probably even say that this entire thing should be made of the wood, but to be perfectly honest, if I was going to do that, then I would be replacing all of this plaster on this floor with probably striped wood or contrasting wood, and kind of work those two contrasting woods with the lattice and such going up here, which wouldn't be a bad idea. But the one thing I was saying earlier, why I went with the roof that has this lens-shaped pagoda, I actually saw a picture, it might have been photoshopped, but this very perfect pagoda-like shape being formed over Mount Fuji, lenticular cloud formations. And I looked into that. Lenticular clouds, they're clouds that form this kind of lens-like shape, and Mount Fuji is apparently a place where they will naturally form. So it's pretty interesting, and I actually wonder if that cloud form is something that A, would cause the pagoda style to have been formed to begin with, and B, for it to be something that the Kerrans would actually find interesting and have some reverence towards. We know they're nautical, we know the four-pointed star is a big thing, stars because they're sailors and such, but I don't really know. Clouds seem like something that would also be very interesting and even divine to them. So that being said, it's time for me to stop ranting, handle the final giveaway here, and wrap it up. So let's draw a winner. Vanilla! Congrats. Okay, So, that is it, everybody. This has been Castles and Crapshacks, episode 22. We've been continuing the Kerran workshop tours, and we ain't gonna stop until the Kerran workshop's over. So, or actually, I think it's gonna stop when SOE Live comes through, because things are gonna be kind of interesting following the week after. So that's it for the show. Everybody who won here, Calm, Fubar, Pie Wing, and Vanilla, will be getting you your goodies here after the show here. Everybody else, thank you for coming through. Really appreciate the conversations and the input from everybody here. Really appreciate being able to check out everybody's builds. Those of you who offered to have your stuff shown off, Maximilian, Theodore, Maximus, Zell, Pi, Phasicus, and the folks whose places I just kind of teleported to. Thank you all. It's been a pleasure checking out your stuff. And of course, anybody who wants to check out the pictures or help support the show, go through on Twitter and find those hashtag Castles Crapshacks pictures. Give them a favorite and a retweet, and hopefully we'll be able to get some more people up in here next time to get some more awesome feedback going. Until then, I will see you folks later. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.